welcome back to the what is now renamed the Wandering Storm channel. This is a part of the Consciousness and Soul series, which is a part of Conscious Libre, which is a website for those new to the consciousness and spiritual aspect of reality and themselves. If you'd like to have a look at any of this information, it's all geared towards people that are relatively new to all of this, though it is updated information that I've learnt over the past 20 years, so there's nothing repeated. It's all updated that I've learnt in all that time, so have a look if you're interested. Right, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, so I might not be as smooth and in the flow as I used to be, so you could pardon me for that. So this video that I'm doing about today is a twin flame video. Now, my understanding of twin flames has changed a lot over the last 10 years, so I'm using the label extremely loosely, so please don't assume I'm talking about the general perception of twin flames, because I'm not. And if you're interested in any of my newer updated versions, I'll put a link up here. So this is a loose twin flame video. So what I want to talk about is, this is a follow-on actually from my guidance for Twin Flame Signs Online 2019, which I was giving information to help people who were looking to see if they were having a twin flame experience. I recommend you look at that, which will be up here as well. So, top 3 twin flame misconceptions. I'm only going to talk about the top 3 that I've noticed on the internet in the last few weeks. So there's a lot of misunderstandings, misconceptions actually in the community, and I've noticed that these are causing issues for a lot of people because they're going on this information when it's actually, it creates issues, it's creating attachment, and the misunderstandings are making it hard for people to accept things, and it's causing resistance. So these are the top things I'd like to discuss. Right, the first one I would like to talk about is the false twin flame. There is no such thing as a false twin flame. Someone either is the same soul being consciousness as you, or they're not. A false twin flame is a false positive, which ultimately is still negative. They either are or they are not. For me, calling someone a false twin flame is not accepting the fact that you misunderstood who and what they were. This comes about because people are focusing on this other person. They are looking for the twin flame. They want to search and recognize that twin flame so they can say, it's okay, it's safe, it's him, I found him. And the drive behind all of that is the uncertainty, the doubt, the worries and the fears. Because for the first several years, actually, at least 7 years, it can take that long to work through all of those, and the mind is constantly wanting to know exactly who it is so it can feel safe. And when we misunderstand someone as being that twin flame, that's the process behind it, because our mind wants to know so we feel safe. We've found them, it's okay. The problem there is that thinking that that other person is the twin flame. Whether they are or they're not is irrelevant. The fact that the twin flame, as often is said, is you are the twin flame. The twin flame is within you. And that, the fact that people don't understand that, is what's causing this issue of being falsely identifying others as the twin flame when they're not. Often these people are catalysts. They can come along to show you something, to trigger you, to make you realise something, but that doesn't mean that they're soul connections. Anyone can do that in life. And what's triggered is ourselves. It's our internal. and we suddenly start getting all these feelings and sensations and thoughts and understandings coming to us, and we are our own being, our own self, what we know is being revealed to us. But rather than thinking, this is me, the idea and the constant trying to label someone else as that twin flame, that is the cause of this, that is this, the focus is on them, when in fact it should be on what's going on in here. So the false twin flame is attachment. It's attachment to the concept, the idea, attachment to the fear of needing to find them. So it's when we've misrecognized somebody else as ourself that we are experiencing. The second one I'd like to talk about is actually, just realizing now, is a similar issue but placed on something else. So here it's about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Again, this is the projection of onto the person. This is generally done in different ways, which creates problems later on because of the misunderstanding. It's being generally misunderstood that the divine masculine is a man, a male gendered body, and the divine feminine has to be a female. The gender of the body, or even sexual orientation, has absolutely nothing to do with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. They are two completely different things. You can have a woman who is an originally embodiment of the divine masculine, and you can have a man who is an original embodiment of the divine feminine. Neither is the divine masculine or the divine feminine anything to do with personality. Personality is a completely different level. The divine masculine and feminine is an energy. It's a consciousness. It has its own presence. And it's nothing to do with the personality. So labeling someone, a person, as the DM is, from what I've experienced, extremely stereotypical. And he's the man, so he's the divine feminine. He's the man, so he's the divine masculine. And the divine masculines are all unawakened. They're all asleep and they don't have a clue and are living a good life. That to me is a victim mentality that a lot of divine feminines carrying people mentally. It's nothing to do with the actual divine feminine, but it's a mentality that of a lot of women who see themselves as the divine feminine and the men as being the divine masculine. It's a victim mentality that they seem to carry and has absolutely nothing to do with the divine masculine at all, because the divine masculine is a higher consciousness. Of course it's awake. Of course it's aware. What they're actually talking about is the actual physical human people. And although the divine masculine and the divine feminine is a part of them, it's extremely unfair to look at a person and expect them to be the other person's expectation of what the divine masculine or the divine feminine is. Also, as you go on in the process, you both end up embodying both the divine feminine and the divine masculine anyway. I was originally embodied as the divine feminine, but several years ago, at least 5, part of the merging process is that the divine masculine came in and merged with me, and since then on I recognise the divine masculine as myself, and the divine masculine is a consciousness within me with his own energy, his own presence, and I I can tell the qualities that he has. I know that he's a scholar. I know that he's extremely calm and quiet and observant. He even comes across to me with a very specific look, and that has absolutely nothing to do with the physical person. That's the consciousness that exists on the higher levels. So for me to turn to my other and expect him to be like that is extremely unfair. So it's misunderstanding the human personality and expecting that human to be the divine masculine, which is extremely unfair. There are plenty of women out there which are the divine masculine. And again, the divine masculine has nothing to do with personality. It's nothing to do with the individual's internal feminine and masculine either. It's like a level above that. A lot of this you learn as you go into it, but I think there's too much information out there which people are taking in at the beginning and using as a foundation for the experience, but that foundation, it's an uneven foundation, and as you keep going you realise that foundation actually is causing issues. So that's what I'm trying to address here anyway. So that actually moves on to the next one. The next one is the fact that the twin flame is a process, not an energy. This for me, I changed my perception to this after about 7 or 8 years, because I realised that viewing the twin flame as the person it creates attachment. It stops us from looking inwards. The twin flame is actually what we're calling a process that we experience as we go through it, and that process is actually happening to ourselves, not to this other person or because of this other person. It's happening to ourselves. Hence, it's a process that we are, and a process that we are going through. And that perception, it helps tremendously. It helps tremendously by not creating that attachment to the other person to start with. And it helps us to look at ourselves as something that is happening to us. It's not necessarily what we are, but what we are never changed. We always were that, but what we're calling the twin flame is actually the process that we are undergoing, rather than another person and our connection with another person. It's the actual process. And in this way, if you had to label the twin flame, not just as yourself, the inner twin, because they're the same being, but the energy is the twin flame. So this is why you can sense your twin flame in these so-called false twin flames, because it's you, it's your energy that you're feeling. And if you have the attachments, that is when we're attaching ourselves and our own self-awareness to these other people. A little bit of a bonus extra fourth here, because I've noticed that this has been building as I've been talking about it, and that is the need to identify that twin flame. How do I know that my twin flame is this person? That need to find out is mental. It's the mind's way of creating security and feeling safe from all the fears and the worries, the doubts that come from all the uncertainty and of not actually knowing what's going on. I've been on this twin flame path now for 10 years, and I can tell you now that it can take that long just to actually get an idea of to get to a certain point so you can actually start to understand things. The general twin flame information out there these days is the very foundation, beginning level of consciousness and understanding, which is why I don't see it as a good place to start. All these people are doing all this information and doing all the work, yet all the people that come afterwards are starting from the same place. It doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, I was the same way, don't get me wrong. I was wanting to know, is it this person? Is it this person? Because I was afraid of being wrong, because I would be lying to myself. So I was trying every way I could to find out who that person was, and not just mentally, but even if you go inside and try to feel who it is, that's not necessarily going to work either, because I found out recently that you're not supposed to know. If you have attached the twin flame as this person and you feel safe, yeah, good, it's him, then you feel safe, you feel comfortable. You stop asking questions. You stop looking so deeply because it feels like it's finished. You've found them. It's over. That darkness of not knowing, of the unawareness, it's meant to keep you looking. It's meant to keep you searching, and that keeps you discovering yourself and finding things and healing and growing and expanding and able to understand this experience more. And you can only do that as it unravels. And it's that asking, it's about asking the questions. It's not about getting the answers. And trying to find out if someone is that twin flame. You need to do the process and go through the process. That is how you find out for sure. I found out a few days ago that I would only be, the best way I can put it is spiritually, officially revealed who my twin was. That was only going to come after I had done this thing which I had to do, which I was meant to do. And that, it's not just the twin flame process that I went through for the past 10 years. It's been the whole of my spiritual process, which has been about 25 years now. I could not be told, this could not be revealed until I had finished it. And it was only then it would be revealed. And if I had been told that beforehand, I wouldn't have looked so much. I wouldn't have worked so hard and dedicated myself so much to that process to start with, because I would have been focused on who my twin flame is and trying to get with them. So if you want to know who that twin flame is, loosely, twin flame doesn't have to be just one. I know the concept twin is for two, but there can be more than one person, more than two people with the same soul. If you want to find out who they are, you have to go through the process, because that process is what changes you, and it's what builds the collective between you all, and that is how you find out. Mentally knowing won't get you anywhere. It will just ease the mind and its concerns. So that's all I'm going to do for this video. I might do more if anyone has any aspects of this that they'd like some information on. I can do another video for a few more. I can only base it on my experience. If I can't do a video on it, then I'll let you know. But if there's any more, let me know.